Hello everyone, I am Jayavardhan Singh, the developer advocate at OpenBuild, and we are thrilled to have you all join us for today's live AMA session. OpenBuild is an open source community. Our aim is to empower the developers. Our aim is to educate as many people as we can about Web3, about blockchain. So, in today's session, we have with us Whisker Wu from Mental team. Whisker is a blockchain researcher. He will be taking us to the recently launched hackathon. He will be taking us to the flow of the hackathon, how you can participate, how we can participate in this, and we can win the prizes together. So this is going to be a step-by-step process. Whisker is going to explain everything to you in detail. If you have any doubts, then after this Whisker's presentation, we have a live Q&A session as well. So you can just ask your doubts there. And you all set. So this is now over to you, Whisker. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Hey guys, welcome to today's hackathon workshop. And so at first, let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Whisker. I'm currently work as a blockchain protocol researcher in the Mantle engineering team. And I'm also responsible for the related technical writing work. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Let me introduce today's presentation content. First, I will introduce what Mantle is, giving you a basic understanding of Mantle. Then I will demonstrate how to deploy a smart contract on Mantle using our developer tools and how to utilize our documentation to access useful information. Yeah. And finally, we will have a brief Q&A session where you can ask me any question you want to know, and I will try my best to give you a perfect answer. Yes. Oh, and another thing is that for this presentation, I assume everyone has some basic knowledge of blockchain and Ethereum. So I won't cover too much fundamental information. Of course, if you have any question during my presentation, feel free to interrupt me at any time. Now, let's move to our first topic. What's Mantle? Simply put, Mantle is an off-chain execution solution for Ethereum scaling. Yes, of course, Mantle is a layer 2 solution. As you can see here, Mantle can significantly reduce transaction fee and latency. We can greatly improve execution efficiency at the same time. While a transaction on Ethereum might cost several dollars or even tens of dollars, and during network congestion, you need to keep increasing your gas fee to ensure transaction inclusion. On Mantle, your transaction fee will be close to zero. Yes, maybe less than one cent per transaction. And like other layer 2s, Mantle also has much higher execution performance than the Ethereum mainnet, supporting high TPS and expanding Ethereum capabilities. And secondly, Mantle features a modular design. Yes, we are among the first or one of first modular layer 2 to launch on mainnet. We decouple execution consensus and settlement function. We provide the EVM compatible execution layer on Mantle. We also complete transaction. We complete transaction and the state transition off-chain, and we were using Ethereum as the final settlement layer for ultimate state transition. Yes, like other layer 2s. And third one is Mantle inherits Ethereum security. We all know Ethereum is currently the largest POS blockchain with very high security, and Mantle leverages this security to ensure the validity of layer 2 state transitions. At last, Mantle introduced a modular data availability layer. We currently use Mantle DA on mainnet, which is a DA solution powered by EigenDA. Yes, EigenDA is built a securely DA layer through restaking. As we all know, this greatly reduced the cost of storing data directly on layer 1. Okay, cool. So here is a Mantle's architecture diagram and a simple high-level workflow introduction. In simple terms, the transaction flow on Mantle can be broken down into these steps. And the first one is transaction submissions. Users or developers can send their transactions through RPC, as you can see here. And the second step is state transition. Transactions are submitted submitted to Mantle sequencer here, which is a off-chain components that handle ordering and execution, sequencing all transaction and completing state transition. And the third one is batch submit. They are two components in Mantle, handle transaction batching. The first one is OP batcher, and OP batcher packs blocks built by sequencer and send them to the Mantle DA for data storage. And another one is OP proposal. OP proposal sends the off-chain state route directed to Ethereum mainnet, as we can see here. The last step is finalization. Transaction finalization require a challenge period because we are optimistic roll up. During the time, the verifier can compare Mantle's state route on Ethereum with block data obtained from Mantle DA. Yes, if there are any difference, they can initiate a challenge. So after this challenge period passes, the transaction is considered finalized. Yeah, that's a high-level workflow introduction. And let me explain how Mantle as a blockchain built on OP stack different from other normal OP stack-based rollup. There are two main differences. And first one is Mantle natively use MNT as its gas token, which will empower the MNT token, of course. The interesting is that we recently see Optimism actively exploring this similar possibilities about that. They have proposed a proposal called customer gas token in OP stack. And we know Base, which is one of the largest OP stack based chain right now. And they have used USDC as their gas token. So which is pretty interesting because we all know the normal rollups they just use ETH as their native gas token. So the gas calculations are in Ether units, right? So since Mantle use MNT, we need to introduce a parameter to bridge this gap, which is called token ratio. And token ratio is the price ratio between ETH and MNT, which can be obtained through Mantle's Oracle. This results in very large gas used value on Mantle, and we will see it later. And since the original gas use need to be multiplied by token ratio, yes. But don't worry about that. Mantle's transaction fee still is one of the latest of so many rollups right now. And the second one is we Mantle use a third-party data availability as our DA layer. As you can see here, our transaction fee have significantly decreased after the upgradation here. And our test shows that you can complete a transaction for less than 1 cent. And here is our Mantle V2 technology fee showcase. You can see, yes, it's pretty cheap, I think. Yes, I think in next section, I will show you guys how to deploy a smart contract on Mantle. So currently, Mantle supports multiple developer tools to deploy and verify smart contract. And I won't show every tools due to the time. So and I will show you guys how to use Hard Hat as a smart contract deployment tools. Before that, there are some information you need to know. The first one is basic infos. Of course, we need to know the network details, and also we have some onboarding tools and some troubleshooting FAQs. You can get this information from our documentation. Yes, you can enter our documentation and find this quick access in for developer section here. This is our network details and mainnet and testnet and our onboarding tools. Of course, you can have a foresight to get some testnet token and the bridges. And pay attention to this. We didn't support Solidity compile version, so make sure your Solidity compile version is lower than this version. Yes, and there are also some more advanced tutorials. The first one is how to optimize your transaction fees. You can also find this here in our documentation. Yeah, we also have some tutorials to tell you how to deploy and verify contracts. You can find them here. How to guides, how to deploy smart contract and how to verify smart contract. Yes. And the third one is how to use Mantle SDK to bridge assets. It's a pretty interesting tutorials. We have our own SDK, and you can use our SDK to do some interesting try to bridge assets from other network to Mantle. Yes. Currently we support Mantle and ETH and every ERC 20 tokens. Yes. And last, there is a troubleshooting page here. You can also find here. So if you have any question, make sure you have checked this page at first. Cool. So it's demo time. Okay. So now I will show you guys how to deploy smart contract on Mantle. Yes, I will use Hard Hat as example. The first thing you need to do is, yes, let's create a folder called Workshop Test. And make sure you have already installed Hard Hat. Now I have installed it. Yes. Okay. So first one, at first you need to initial project, and then make sure you have add all things down and Hard Hat, and we will use .env as a deployment tools here. So let's wait for its install. Yeah, I think there's still something we need to prepare. The first one is make sure you have your wallet here. I will use MetaMask as an example. And you need to create a new wallet. Make sure you have import Mantle testnet information. And you can add a custom network here and field or information we can get from the quick access network details here. Yes. Yeah, I have imported. And you also need to prepare some testnet token, which you can find here. We have our full set here, and you need to authenticate your Twitter account, and you can get 1,000 testnet token for free. Yes, cool. Yes, I think we have prepared all things. You need to create your own project, Hard Hat project here. Yeah, I will use TypeScript as example. Yes. We need to wait for this. And if you have any question, I think you can find all things from our documentation. The first page you need to know is this quick access. I think you can get most of your questions answers here. Cool. Just wait a second. Cool. So we can see every dependency is ready. There are some demo contracts defaulted in a Hard Hat. So we will use this as our example contract and deploy it on Mantle and verify it at the same time. Yes. So the first thing we need to do is touch it. And yes, we need to prepare this, and you need to fill your account private key here. So how to get your account private key? You can open your MetaMask and click this, get account details, and choose show private key here, enter your password. Yeah, this is your private key here. Yeah, copy it. Paste here. So make sure you won't link your private key to the public. This is a brand new account, so I will use this as example, so don't worry about that. Yes, another thing is that, yes, we need to change this config, Hard Hat config. Now we can see it's a default configs, and we need to add some Mantle network configuration. which we can find from our documentation. You can see here. So copy this and replace it. Yes, I think it's good. So one thing you need to pay attention is that we can see here the example contract. They are using the Solidity compile version is 27, which is higher than our recommendation. So I will replace it to the 19. Yes. Yes, I think now we can try to deploy this contract to Mantle. So there are two ways to deploy a contract. The first one is use npx hard hat and ignition deploy. Yeah, you need to set deployment ID, this parameter here, to deploy this contract. And I need to add another thing. So, yeah, don't worry about that. It's a process to prevent timeout, and I think you guys don't need it. So confirm deployed network Mantle Sepolia, of course, yes. And then it will compile your smart contract and try to deploy it to Mantle Sepolia network. So when you doing your Hackathon project, you need to replace your smart contract here and do the same things, try to deploy it. So now we can see it's success and it's successful. And this is the smart contract address. And let's copy it and move to the Mantle Explorer here and choose Mantle Sepolia testnet. Make sure you have moved to the Sepolia testnet Explorer. And yeah, copy the. I think this is your smart contract. We just deployed 38 seconds ago. So the deployment is successful. And next we need to verify our smart contract, which will make our project more stable, yes, and more trustable, of course. So how to verify our smart contract? You don't need to do much more things. All you need to do is px hard hat. So I will direct copy the command here. Yes, npx hard hat ignition verify and fill your deployment ID at last. Okay, it says we don't have our EtherScan API key configured. Yes, we need to configure our EtherScan API key. So how to get our EtherScan API key? We will use our Explorer. So make sure you jump to the mainnet Explorer network. You need to log in here to make sure you have login and choose API keys here. And you can add your API key here. So it's a free API plan. The limit is five calls per second. And copy this API key. And you need to enter this. And I think yes, configure it here. And we also need to change our hard hat configure here. Yes, you can get the verify configuration here. Yes, you can see here. Let's copy it and to replace it. So let's try again. I think it should be work. It's verifying the contract. It says it's successful. So now you have finished the deployment and the verification. And if you want to do it at the same time, we also have another way. So you can find here. Yes, I think you can find here. The first way is that verification during the deployment. Okay, not this one. So just hold on a second. Oh, I think it's this one. Use verify flag. So Let's try it. So it's deploying. Yes, deployment is successful and it's verified. Yes, I think everything works. Everything works here. So you have finished the deployment and the verification at one time. I think that's all from me. And please pay attention that if you have any questions, so the first thing you need to do is enter our documentation and find the answer here. Yes, we have for developers section. Cool. I think, yeah, that's all for me. Let's jump to the QA time.
Hello.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, thank you so much, Whisker. Thank you for taking us all to this. It's so nice of you to explain the details and to explain the deployment process in a so simple manner. Thank you. And now let's move on to the live Q&A session. Let's see the doubts. If the audience is having any doubts, then let me just check.
Cool.
Okay. So the first one we have here is when it comes to security, how does Mental ensure that everything's safe, especially with data availability and to fight against the frauds?
That's a pretty good question. We all know optimistic rollup need to approve or some other proof system to prevent to make sure your transaction is everything good. So currently we are not prepared we are not have overall for proof system right now, and we of course we are working on that. That's our the highest priority work. Yes, you mentioned external data layer, right? So our solution is that on our mainnet, we are using Mantle DA, which is powered by EigenDA, which is a restaking system. You can inherit Ethereum security by using EigenDA's functionality and restaking things. Yes, and currently we are testing the EigenDA functionality on our testnet, and if everything goes fine, we will move to the EigenDA our mainnet. Yes, I think EigenDA is trustable, right, for you guys?
Yeah, thank you for telling us. And looks like okay, so this remains your top priority, and soon we'll discover some solutions coming in. That's great. The next one we have is will Mental be rolling out more tutorials or resources for the community to learn and grow? So, what kind of plans do you have with the courses and the learning resources for the developers?
As I mentioned before, we have our SDK and we also have our tutorial for this SDK on our documentation. And I think currently we have a overall documentation for developers, and you guys can find it, most of your questions answered on our documentation. If you have a question, just find the documentation. If you can't figure it, we also have our developer success colleagues here, and we all know the developers is very important for our community, right? So we prepare much more things for them. If you have a question, just reach out to us, and we will let you know what's wrong with your problem, and we will try to figure it out. Yeah, try our best. And also, we have much more hackathon and workshop. We have maybe more than 20 workshop or hackathon in the last year. Yes.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we know developers is important, and we also want to invite as much as we can, as much as developers we can invite to join our ecosystem. Yes.
That's great. That's great. And for every blockchain, the developers are the top priority. The users, the developers, the community. The more we have them, the more stronger the ecosystem becomes. That comes to my doubt personally. I was having like, what kind of developer grants are you guys offering for the developers? What tracks are there? Are there any grants available?
We all know we have ecosystem grant like 200 million. I'm not sure about that, but you can Google it. So we also have some grant page on our website. You can reach out there and find if you are interested in that, and you can join it and apply the grants here. Yes.
Okay, okay. The next question we have from our community is kind of like a follow-up only. So, what kind of support does Mental offer to the developers? Are there any specific types of teams or projects that would benefit the most? So, is there any specific niche that you guys are targeting, like DeFi space, or that is more likely to get the more support? Are you guys having something, and what kind of support do you guys provide?
I'm not sure about that, but from currently we have listed most of our developer things and information on our documentation, and I think you can find guides and some resource and tooling things on our documentation, and also some optimization to how to lower your transaction fee. Yes, and if you guys have any thoughts on that, please let me know. And I think you can reach out me from Twitter and some other ways, of course. And if you have any question, just feel free to reach out to me, and I will try to figure it out and maybe yes, complete our documentation. Yes.
Okay, that's kind of great. So the next question we have here is how does Mental handle interoperability with other layer 2 networks?
Oh, that's a pretty interesting question. And if you guys know it, we have posted a blog recently called How to. I'm not sure about that, but this blog is about how to build a cross rollup by using currently supported ERC and or ERP. And also we have did some research on these narrative things. We did some research on, let me think, Ava. Yes, we are concentrated on this, of course, and we all think interoperability is pretty important and interesting things in ecosystem Ethereum ecosystem, since we have complained about the fragmentation in layer 2 or rollups ecosystem right now. So currently, I'm not sure about that, but we are working on, I'm not sure about how, if I can say that, but we are working on integrate ERC 7683, which is cross intent ERP proposed by Uniswap and Across. And we are working on that, have integrated on that to support if any other rollups want to have some cross rollup transaction or contracts or core to Mantle. Yes, we are prepared that, of course, yes. And we also did some research on chain abstraction, which is also hot topic recently. And I think we will see more progress in the future. Yes, I think I can't say too much on that, but let's see. Yes.
Now, still without revealing much, you have given high hopes to the community. I guess the question took out many things from you. The team is working on what kind of things the team is working on, and that's really great of you to share them with the community here. Moving on to the next question. Going through the docs, can you shed some light on how Mental handle L1 to L2 bridging or bridging to other EVM L2s? So how does Mental handle that and anything and just a basic idea of it
I
give
think
the community?
currently we have a bridging tutorials about how to bridging assets to Mantle from Ethereum. Yes, I think. Yeah, I think you can fork it and try to figure it. I think all things you need to do is do some small changes about that. Yes, you can reach out to the Mantle documentations, bridging tutorials using using Mantle SDK. Yeah, that should be work.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next one. How does Mental manage to keep transaction fees so low while maintaining a high throughput? Yeah.
I think the important thing is that we still use external DA, a third-party data availability layer. We call it Mantle DA, and which is powered by Eigen DA. We all know Ethereum is not cheap, even though we are using blob. If we are using blobs as instead of core data to publish to Ethereum mainnet, as we can see, many OP stack based rollups, they are using blocks right now. But I'm not sure, have you guys noticed that Base, they have explored their ecosystem, so they have very high TPS recently and have much more transaction recently, and in the past they are one of the lowest transaction fee in the rollup ecosystem, and right now it's not cheap enough, and you can see it. But we are still stable for our transaction fee, around 1 cent, yes, maybe less than 1 cent, and because we are using we won't use we didn't use blob to publish to Ethereum, and we still use external data availability layer. So most of our data storage will store off chain, and we just publish some state root to the on chain there. I think that's why we are still cheap, one of the cheapest rollups in the ecosystem. Yes.
Yeah, thanks for shedding light on that. And let's move on to the next one. So the next one we have right here is between the ZK rollups and optimistic rollups, what's Mantle's plan for the future? So can you please elaborate a bit about the both, and then what's your plan for the future?
It's also an interesting question for me, and also a difficult thing for me, because I don't know if I can say that, and I can export too much information. I think, as I mentioned before, the proof system is one of the highest priority things for our engineering team, and we need to make sure our rollups is valid. Our rollups validity is robust enough for the users or the developers. So we all know optimistic rollups will have challenge period, maybe 7 days, and we also know Ethereum Foundation are working on the fast finality things, maybe a single salute things, of course, and two, and we know optimism. They are also working on that. They have tried to fix the problem of the 7 days challenge period. And we know they can rob. They just have maybe 1 hour or just one day to finalize their transaction. That's pretty faster than optimistic rollup. Yeah, and I think all of the optimistic rollup, they all want to fix this problem to prevent 7 days challenge period. That's bad UX for users, of course, and we are working on that for a while. I think I won't talk too much about that, but I would say we have tried to talk with so much team about that. We know we have a risk zero and succinct team. They are all working on the integration with OP stack, right? The risk zero, they just offer a solution called DK hybrid roll up. Yeah, they have this solution, and in normal, the rollup is still optimistic, so which means you don't need to generate sticky proof all the time. And if you have a challenge period, you can use the risk zero. They will generate sticky proof, and at that time it's just pretty like they can roll up, and you don't need to wait for 7 days challenge period. And that's what they think, and we all know many community members are doubt about that, but I won't talk too much about that. But this is their solution, and succinct, and they also provide a solution, but it's called OP Succinct, which they have offer a tool to help optimistic roll up to move to DK roll up seamlessly, which is pretty interesting things, right? So which means optimistic roll up can be our ZK roll up. Maybe they think they can do it in a day, or yes, it's pretty fast, and I think it makes sense, because most of optimistic rollup team, they are trying to fix the challenge period. If they are using OP sync, they can move to a ZK rollup, then the challenge period is gone, and yes, you don't need to wait 7 days. And that's our research on that. And I don't want to talk too much about that, and I don't want to talk too much things about our plans, because I think that's enough for you guys to know. There's two solutions right now, in the ecosystem. And yeah, they are all the solution for trying to fix the challenge period and bad UX things. And let's see who will win. Yes. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So Whisker does not want to spill the tea. He does not want to reveal everything, but at least he has given us a glimpse. So that's really fine. I guess you believe in the ideology of move in silence and let your success make the noise. So that was great. That at least you told the a brief overview about what your plans are and how you will be proceeding. Let's move on to the next. Hello.
Hey, welcome back, Jay.
Okay, okay. I don't know what happened. So the question is, how does Mental envision itself in the Web3 industry, and what does the future look for, like for you? Like, how do you see yourself in shaping the future of the industry?
Okay, so we all know Mantle has a pretty big treasure, and we are concentrate on the Ethereum ecosystem, and we want to make Ethereum great again, of course. And we are trying to fix the problem of Ethereum. I will say that low performance. Yes, we offer off-chain scaling solution, and we are not like other OP stack based rollup. We have our own features like custom gas token and a third party data availability layer, and which make us special in the ecosystem. So our vision for the future is that we first of all we need to provide a better UX for the user, of course, and the developer. And how to do that? We need to make our protocol more stable and robust, of course. That's the most important things, of course. That's why the proof system is our highest priority things. And another thing is that how to make our UX better. And that's why we are also concentrate on the things of like how to fix the challenge period of optimistic roll up, and of course the interoperability things, and how to implement maybe a chain abstraction solution of OP stack. And yeah, that's our vision for the future. The most important thing is that, as I mentioned before, is UX. Yes.
So I get it. The UX remains your top priority, and that's really great. So for now, we don't have any more questions. If you want to share anything, any upcoming news with the community, any exciting news, then you can proceed ahead. The questions I can see there are no more questions right now. Yeah, Whisker. Anything else from your side?
No, I think that everything goes from my end.
So thank you so much for joining. And it was great talking to you. It was great having you with us here. So for all the audience, you can just participate and see all the rules. They are clearly specified in the hackathon manual. So you guys can participate. Whisker, in this session, we went through the whole flow of how you can deploy your contract. And I would like to thank Whisker again for joining us, for explaining it so nicely. For the audience, we have a lot of plenty of courses on our platform. You can definitely visit openbuild.xyz and see. So that was it from our side, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Take
Jay.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.